And now Claire and I are talking to Clark, one of the other organizers of KinoD this year. So tell us, what exactly is your role in Kino?
Just general coordinator like Stephen also. I suppose coordinating the meetings, trying to help get funding, organizing the musicians to come in, finding venues, helping organize the fundraiser. We were all like a very general crew, kind of like if there were jobs that needed to be done, we all just doled them out evenly and made sure that we could make it happen.
And how many years have you been involved in it?
Just one. This is my anniversary, essentially. I only found out about Kino for the first time around this time last year. Came along to the international Kino and fell in love with it. And since I've travelled to a Kino in Napoli and one in Lublin in Poland as well.
What motivated you to get involved in the coordinating and organization portion of it versus, like me attending and just making films?
Well, it's always something that I've kind of had a knack for. I ran a couple of societies in college, but also a lot of the organizers from last year either emigrated or got better jobs and became too busy to actually help this year. And just after traveling to a few other kinos and just seeing how spectacular they were, I just really didn't feel it was fair for Dublin to miss out on another one this year. Because being involved in Kino I can honestly say it's the best thing that I've ever come across creatively, and I just basically wanted to be able to share that with other people.
And then with organizing it and stuff, did you find you took things that you learned from the other kinos and brought it to this one, or when you attended those ones?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I traveled to the other kinos with some of the other people who have helped me organize this year, also first-time organizers. And the whole time we were at those kinos, we were trading notes about what we liked about them, what we didn't like, what we thought we could help bring back to Dublin. The icebreaker session being one of the things. And also, until I had gone to the Kino in Naples, I was considering dropping the silent session this year. But just seeing the quality of music and live music and the standard of the musicians they had, I was like, oh, we have to have that in Ireland. Like the amount of talented musicians in Dublin, it would be such a shame to let that go. So yeah, it massively had a profound effect on how we organised the Kino this year.
Great. And then explain how the icebreaker works. So for anyone that's never participated and is thinking about participating but might be a little nervous.
Well, it's all about getting people comfortable working with each other, building up their confidence around each other so they'll feel more free to pitch their crazier or more zany ideas to each other. But also it allows people to kind of gauge other people's talents and temperaments and see who they'd like working with. So for this year, we paired everyone up randomly. No one got to choose what team they were on. We gave them a very tight amount of time to make a movie and a very specific prop that they had to use. And like for the 8 hours or so they had to make them, the standard was phenomenal.
Was the prop the same for each group, or was it a different prop? Like, how did you decide the props?
The prop was the same for each group. We were originally thinking maybe we'll give them different ones. It would be interesting, but we equally thought it would be just as interesting to see everybody else's individual spin on that same prop.
Just wondering, what's the biggest challenge of organising Kino? What's the one thing that you didn't expect that happened, or was there one thing that you thought, okay, I'd love to change that or improve or something?
It's not so much that anything was surprising. It was more that we knew that there'd be a lot of challenges and we knew we'd have to rise to them. For example, finding accommodation for our international Kinoites coming over, finding a venue. Like so many art studios, unfortunately, in the last year have been closed down since we did the Kino last year. But we managed to meet up early. We were quite efficient with our meetings, and we managed to organize a couple of fundraisers to make sure that we could make it happen. But the main challenge was the amount of time that it actually takes to organize. But it's well worth it, and I think it kind of like brought us as organizers closer together. We all learned from each other, and I'm confident we'll be even able to do it better again next year.
Because often filmmakers, writers and actors are spread out, so it's such a great creative hub to come in here every day and just to create stuff from scratch. And for me, as a Kino first-timer, it's very, very exciting. And there's such a creative, amazing energy around the space.
Yeah, that's just it, because when you're a budget filmmaker, the most difficult thing that you come up against is trying to get everybody together in the same place at the same time. So to remove that challenge for filmmakers and actors and to give them a venue to make films in a non-competitive environment, I think is so important.
Okay, so a little bit more about how Kino works for anyone that might be thinking of attending. You mentioned the silent set.
Yeah, it's just more an opportunity to think a little bit more outside the box. Sometimes I think when you leave people free form to kind of try and make ambitious films over 48 hours, it's easy to lose the run of yourself. Like you're thinking, I'll be able to shoot all that in 12 hours, edit it in 8, it's fine. But I've always found actually the half of the sessions that we have with the rules normally actually produce better results and definitely more entertaining ones. Like the silent session, not only do you get the opportunity to play with a bunch of talented musicians and have your music screened with like essentially what is a live orchestra, but it also allows you to incorporate things like live performance, how the actors perform on the stage for you, audience participation. All those things make the silent session really special.
And so tell us, because I know you were editing before we spoke, you're also making a film? Or are you editing somebody else's?
I was editing some back-end stuff, some of the ending slates and graphics that we actually need to play in between the films. I managed to make one at the Icebreaker. I'm hoping to be able to make a film now in the 72-hour session.
And last question from me, and unless you've got something else to ask. What would be like your biggest piece of advice to anyone who's maybe a little bit nervous about coming out, or maybe they don't have as much experience, or they just kind of want to get out there and start making films?
Well, for anybody a little apprehensive about coming to a Kino, I'd say just push it down, take the leap and come out and join us. It's one of the least competitive and friendly environments that you can come to make a film. And I found like a lot of people, they come in the first day, they're talking to the mic about this quietly, and then by the end they're bellowing to the back of the crowd about their pitch. It's such a good confidence builder. So if that's something that you want to develop in yourself along with your skills and your creativity, I genuinely do think Kino is the best venue for it.
In fact, it's a very less competitive environment. It's friendly, it's encouraging. And as you said, it gives people confidence. Like, it gives me confidence as a writer and actor to come here and know I can create a film in a short space of time, and possibly it has a future. You know, that's really, really exciting. So thank you, and well done for organising everything, you know.
And I have to say as well, like, I've made several films now with serious amounts of pre-production and stressing on them and doing the festival rounds, and like, they're rewarding and they're great, but Kino is a much faster result. And I can honestly say some of the work that I'm most proud of, I have, like actually created during short Kino sessions.
Great. All right, well, thanks for talking to us. And with that, No Budget Filmmakers, we will talk to you later.